Hi and welcome back to Sarah's Texture Crafts. Today we're going to be looking at the drum carder, the basics of the drum carder, how it's set up, and the types of fibres that you can use within your carded bats that you make on your drum carder. Okay, I have here the standard Ashford drum carder. This is the 72 point per inch, and the point per inch refers to these little spiky needles that are on the drum, and you have 72 points per inch, and this is ideal for hand washed fleece that's already been salted and possibly lightly carded with your hand carders, all of your tops, and different exotic fibres as well that you might use in blends, so things like mohair, alpaca, angora and the like. And what you will notice here is you have the main feed-in tray. This is where you pass your fibres onto this first initial drum, which helps roll your fibres onto this main drum here. Now this is where you will get your and build your carded bat. There's a little handle on the side, and that turns, making this ever so slight scratching noise, and that's a sign of the points ever so slightly touching each other, and that helps to process the fibre, drag it through from the feeding area under the first drum and onto the main drum. You'll notice when you receive your drum carder, or most drum carders, that you'll get clamps for your table. Now I really do recommend that you put those on and use those, because otherwise you're going to get all sorts of rocking with your drum carder, and what you really want is a stable surface, because especially when you get to sort of more coarse fibres, or fibres that need a little bit more work, more carding and more processing, because the fibres are all sort of interwoven and tangled, then you're going to find there's a lot of movement in the carder, because they're much more harder to pass through this tray area. On the side you'll notice the main clogs. These basically are designed to help to turn these drums, so if I can do that holding the camera, you'll see that each of those turn as I turn the wheel to turn the main drum. With your carder you will also get what's called a doffing tool, and this is quite a long tool with a very sharp end, and this is designed to be used along these groove edges here, and that helps to lift off your bat. So that's the doffing tool. What doesn't always come with your standard drum carder, it will come if you come with the Ashford Wild carder, if you decide to buy that, but it won't come with the standard drum carders, so I always recommend getting yourself a good flick carder. Now let's have a look at the different fibres that you can use on this particular drum carder. I've got merino there, lots of different colours of that. You can also use merino that's already been blended. This one's got a little bit of silk in it, as is this one. You can use other fibres as well, and this is a bit of Norwegian, and this is Blueface Leicester in oatmeal. You can also use fibres, fleeces rather, that have been washed. Never take anything that's too greasy to your drum carder, because it will clog the wheels and it will make turning the main wheel almost impossible. You'll break both the needles, and you could misalign the drum, which could cause you problems. So this is a Shetland fleece which has been hand washed. The majority of the grease is gone. You feel an ever such a slight grease touch to some of the fibre. That should be okay to card, but don't take anything that has full grease to the carder. What else have we got? We've got some silk here. I've got some Tusar silk which I've just lightly hand dyed, and that's great for blending or using on the top as an embellishment. I've also got some silk throaster waists, and these are basically lots of little tiny silk threads. They make great texture, and they can be really fun in spinning and felting, so that's always good to look out for things that give you a bit of a unique texture in your work. You can also pass through curls, and we'll cover that in later carding demonstrations. But I've got some Teeswater here, which has been lovely hand dyed in a rainbow sort of colour. More fleece there. And then this is mohair. This is great for blending, particularly if you want to make socks, so that's always a good one to have. Sparkles. Sparkles are always quite good to use. This is quite a thick sparkle, so this is a Lurex, but you can get finer fibres like Angelina, which add a delicate touch to your sparkle work. And you can also get Firestar, which we know in the UK is Trillabelle nylon, and that's great for adding very light sheen work to your bat. This is a silk noir. As you can see, it's not fully processed silk, and silk noir mostly is a waste product of making things like Tussar silk, so it's quite often discarded, but actually it makes a fantastic texture and is fully spinnable and feltable, so that's worth having a look. I do stock some in the shop at sarahstexturecrafts.com. This is cotton. Cotton fibre. I have some cotton fibre lengths in my shop. If they are lightly carded, then they are great for use on top of your bats. And here I've got just a couple of examples of arty bats. So you can see here on the surface I've used fleece for the mane, a white fleece, then some coloured merinos, and then I've also used some silky elements. This is silk throw-staways. And you can see on the inside you get a completely different effect. You've got some cotton there. So that's that one. And then the other one, I think you might be able to see slight elements of sparkle around here. Some of the curls, so that gives texture to your bat. And then on the inside we have lots of cotton. Again, different coloured merinos, some silk noir here actually. If you have a look at that, that's quite nice. And then, what else do we have? I think that might be all for that one. But you can see how actually, if you tear apart your bat, that you can really layer it up with different colours and textures as you go. So that's something that we'll cover in later tutorials, but for today that gives you an idea of what you can pass through on your drum carder. So take a look at my next tutorial where I'm going to look at passing fibres through your feed tray area and onto the drum and the best methods for that, and then we'll look at blends and arty bats in later videos. Thank you very much.